Welcome to Screret Love channel. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to the initial attraction from appearance or sweet words, there are other values that only when they fall in love deeply, they realize. Sex, for many men, is not only physical satisfaction but also an emotional journey, where they find true connection and charm hidden deep inside the woman. It is a discovery not only of the body but also of the soul. A blend of feelings, respect and unspoken things. When a man feels sincerity and passion in the relationship, love and marriage become a fusion of body and emotion, touching the deepest corners of their hearts. There are three things that men always look for in making love with their woman. It is not only a moment of passion, but also an expression of deep connection in the soul. If one day, the man no longer desires that, it is likely that your relationship is having serious problems. It is important to understand what they expect so that love and sublimation are always sustainable. 1. Women's preparation. This is too easy to feel with the senses. How carefully you have prepared for making love. The other person can easily recognize. By nose, he can smell the seductive scent that you have carefully prepared. As we know, by eyes, he can also completely recognize the sexy dress his wife just bought. In general, the more women know how to take care of themselves to perfect themselves, bringing the best experience to their husbands, the more they make their partners fascinated. On the contrary, when you have spent time, money and effort to bring attractive, spiritual food to your husband but he is indifferent, considering it normal, it means that the man is disrespecting you, or he also feels that it is not enough to satisfy his lust. With that thought, your partner is indeed selfish and greedy. With a delicate husband, as mentioned, he will recognize even the smallest preparation to praise and compliment you. Strange scent. The husband will have to smell it to satisfy his heart, or he cannot take his eyes off a sexy short skirt. But no matter what, you should practice the habit of preparing carefully before each love affair. Not only for the other person but first of all to make yourself sexier and more beautiful. 2. The weakness of women. Almost in love affairs, women are often the weak ones. But this is not a negative thing. The nature of men is to like to see prey, small and weak so that they can show off their strength and protection. On the contrary, if women know how to be gentle and meek enough, you will arouse 100% of the vitality and excitement from your man. However, this is also a factor to warn about whether the relationship between husband and wife and whether the feelings of the two people are good or not. A man who is indifferent, or even finds his wife's gentleness too annoying, means that he is no longer crazy about you. This, lovemaking, is truly a boring response. Only careless people who lack sophistication think that femininity during lovemaking is a barrier that breaks the sublimation of emotions. 3. The understanding of women. Women always pay attention to many details and want lovemaking to be perfect from the foreplay until both are dressed and return to their original state. This is also what fascinates men, because every man wants to have a smart and sophisticated lover. For example, if you know your husband's favorite position, that's a plus. Or if you know what your husband likes to eat after each lovemaking session, that's even better. The more wise a woman is in every action, the more men respect and appreciate her. We can see that when he shows indifference, even being grumpy if there is something that is not to his liking. This means that your relationship is having big problems. Is it possible that there are problems and conflicts between the two of you that have not been clearly resolved? And besides these three factors, you also need to pay attention to your husband's health. The reason for this indifference can stem from physical fatigue. Depending on each situation, you should come up with an appropriate way to handle it. But don't forget that sex is a sublimation of emotions from both sides. Not just one side. You have to resolve all the problems from the relationship for lovemaking to be complete. When a man truly loves you, what he is looking for in you is not just your appearance or the perfection in every gesture. It is emotional harmony, spiritual harmony, and the belief that this relationship is always complete and sustainable. If you can understand and satisfy what he desires, not only making love, but also your love will become a passionate and meaningful journey. Love and marriage for men are not just superficial factors or simple romance. What they really seek is a deep connection, where they feel sincerity, charm and understanding from the other person. Sex, in their eyes, is not just a physical need but a meaningful emotional journey. When both are in harmony in love, everything will become more solid and lasting, creating a truly complete and fulfilling relationship. Let's listen to the story of Mylin and Ton, a couple who have been together for 15 years. Their marriage was once the dream of many people when both started with passionate love, full of sweet promises and romantic dates. But time, work pressure, and the hustle and bustle of life have somewhat faded the color of that love. Lily used to be a passionate girl, always smiling at the world. But after getting married, she gradually became a busy woman taking care of her family. James used to be a romantic man, but gradually got caught up in the whirlwind of his career, becoming more distant and quiet. Their conversations now revolved around bills that needed to be paid, work that needed to be completed, and the education of their 2 children. The love that once shone brightly was now like a candle about to go out, flickering in the heavy days. One evening, Lily sat alone in the living room after cleaning. On the table was a small box she found in the corner of the cupboard while cleaning the house. It was a box containing letters James had written to her when they were still in love. She opened the box, reading each letter, each line filled with love and longing from that day. Her eyes blurred, not knowing when she had forgotten those beautiful things, and wondering if James still remembered. The next day, Lily decided to do something she hadn't done in a long time. She called James and asked him to come home early to have dinner with the family. Surprised but not wanting to disappoint her, James agreed. That night, Lily prepared a sumptuous meal, not forgetting James's favorite dish, the sweet and sour pork ribs she had made for him when they first got married. When James entered the house, he saw the 2 children playing happily, the dining table beautifully set, and Lily wearing the white dress he had complimented many years ago. He was a little stunned, feeling as if time had suddenly turned back to their early days. During the meal, Lily tried to create a cheerful atmosphere, asking about his work, telling funny stories about the children. James was a little awkward at first, but then he got into the flow of emotions. After dinner, when the 2 children had gone to bed, Lily sat down with James. She brought the small box and placed it in front of him. "Do you remember these letters?" she asked, her voice soft but filled with deep sadness. James was silent, holding each letter and reading it. Each line seemed to awaken a part of his forgotten memory. Memories flooded back. Each smile, each tear, each promise. "I'm sorry," James said suddenly, his voice choking. "I forgot about you. I forgot why I loved you in the first place. My busy life took me away. But I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose this family." Lily looked at him, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Me too. I let myself get caught up in my responsibilities and forgot that I still need to be loved and need to love you. But I want us to try together. Don't let this life take away the most precious thing we have, this love." James took Lily's hand, the once familiar hands now strange. But this time he wanted to hold it tight and never let go. They sat together for a long time, saying nothing, just feeling the warmth and harmony that they had lost over the years. From that day on, both of them changed together. James learned to spend more time with his family, from preparing meals in the mornings to taking the kids out in the evenings. Lily also tried to find herself again, taking classes that she used to love, taking care of herself more. Their love did not return immediately like in the beginning, but day by day, little by little, it gradually revived, more beautiful and deeper than before. 15 years. A marriage that seemed impossible to save. But as long as both still love and want to try, miracles will always exist. Lily and James realized that love is not the absence of conflict or contradiction, but the willingness to hold hands to overcome those things. Lily believes that their lives from now on will always be filled with such moments, full of emotions, full of love, and always together. 4 times when men do not understand. Women will leave even though they still love deeply. Women are inherently those who love with all their hearts, willing to sacrifice and endure to preserve happiness. They do not despise their men for being poor, do not demand luxurious material things, only hope to receive sincere care and a meaningful love. But no matter how deep the love is, if the effort only comes from one side, if their feelings are forgotten, and their pain is taken lightly, that strong heart will gradually cool down. There are times when, even though women still love, they will choose to leave, not because they no longer have feelings, but because they realize they deserve to be appreciated more. When men do not understand these things, the woman's departure is not only a pain, but also an expensive lesson about loss. Women do not despise poor men, but men only know how to make her cry. Women do not always only like money like men think. What they need most is love, your care. Women always want men to consider them a priority. They need your sincerity more than expensive gifts from you. If a woman does not despise you for being poor, it means she is willing to go through hardships and difficulties with you. A man who cannot give his wife a full life must give her a lot of love. You do not know what she likes, what she needs. Men are strange in that they know what other women like when they go out, but they do not know it with their own women. For women, the feeling of being understood is important. If you give her too many things that she does not need, it is useless. Men often think that women will always keep themselves in a special position. But after years of being treated coldly, they no longer consider men the most important. Men are willing to treat everyone well, except her. You are good to everyone but not to her. You are liked by everyone but not by the woman beside you. If that is the case, it really means nothing. Because what men need to do is to make their women happy. Men are foolish. When they go out they are kind to everyone, but when they come home they are indifferent to their wives. She has no hope left from you. A woman who has run out of love will abandon you because she can no longer hope in you. No matter how rich or talented you are, you cannot stop that extreme heartlessness. Women are passionate when they love, but when they leave, they are also very certain. If men bring suffering, there is no reason for women to endure it. Women leave not because they no longer love, but because that love is no longer strong enough to hold them when they have suffered too much pain. They choose to leave not to escape, but to protect what is left of their self-respect and self-worth. Men often realize the importance of a woman when she has left. But at that time, sometimes all efforts become meaningless. Happiness cannot be kept by promises or late regrets. but must be built from companionship, understanding, and sincere love every day. Don't wait until you lose her to understand her value. If you truly love her, learn to appreciate, listen, and understand. Because when a woman decides to stay with you, she has given you everything. Don't let her choose to leave, even though she still loves you deeply. Let's listen to the story of Emily and Jack, a couple who got married after 3 years of happy love. Emily is not a woman who likes to depend on others. She is independent, strong, and always willing to share difficulties with her husband. On their wedding day, all their friends admired their deep love. Emily used to think that with love and effort, she could build a perfect home. But marriage is not only about love. Gradually, the pressures of life, work, and Jack's indifference made everything different. Jack is an ambitious man who spends most of his time at the company. He always thinks that he has to work hard to provide a comfortable life for his family. But that hard work makes him forget the little things that Emily needs. A hug after a long tiring day, a greeting, or simply a cozy dinner together in the evening. Emily tried many times to talk to Jack, to express her feelings. She told him that she didn't need luxurious gifts, didn't need him to earn a lot of money, just his presence in her life. Jack listened, nodded, but nothing changed. He always thought that Emily was asking for too much and didn't understand the pressure he had to bear. One day, Emily found out she was pregnant. She was both happy and worried. Emily hoped that the child would help heal the gap between the couple, making Jack realize the value of family. But contrary to her expectations, Jack threw himself even more into work, using the excuse of having to prepare financially to raise a child. She quietly went to the prenatal checkup alone, preparing everything for the baby without her husband's company. The day their little girl was born, Emily thought it would be the happiest moment of her life. But Jack only stopped by the hospital for a few hours, then hurried back to the company. The months of taking care of the child alone made Emily tired. She was exhausted both physically and mentally. She cried many times looking at her sleeping daughter, wondering why the great love of the past had now turned into such loneliness. Emily tried for another year, hoping that Jack would change. But everything remained the same. He always thought that Emily was his wife, the mother of his child. So she would always be there, would never leave. He did not realize that Emily's pain had reached its limit. One evening, after putting her child to sleep, Emily quietly packed her things. She left a letter on the table, which said, "I used to think that as long as I loved you, everything would be fine. But I realized that love requires understanding and sharing. I don't blame you, but I can't continue to live like this. I left not because I stopped loving you, but because I no longer felt appreciated." When Jack returned home and saw the letter, he collapsed. He ran everywhere to find Emily, but she was far away. It was the first time in his life that he felt the pain of losing the most important person. He realized that all Emily needed was not money, but him, a husband, a father, a companion in life. After months of trying to contact and make amends, Jack found Emily in a small town where she was starting a new life with her daughter. He knelt down, begging for forgiveness. Emily looked at him, tears rolling down her face. She still loves him, but her heart is hardened by too much pain. Emily and Jack's story is a profound lesson about understanding and appreciation. Women leave not because they stop loving, but because they realize that staying will only cause them more pain. And men, if they do not understand that, will most likely lose the woman who loves them the most, forever. If you find the video useful, please share it with many people, as well as subscribe to the channel. Like, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you in the next video.